we corresponded some before he came on over about some of his projects in Denmark that tie education, especially of younger players, with soccer, and kind of how one becomes a bribe for the other and one becomes a benefit for the other. And I just thought it was useful as we're sitting here thinking about what can we do in Arkansas to think outside the box, to try different methods to help make soccer better, to engage, say, well, why aren't the Danes any better at soccer? You know, that's fair game. Ken's more than willing to answer that, and I'm sure he'll have stats to put us in our place. So anyway, Ken, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, thank you. It's a big pleasure to be here today. That's why I'm very happy to go to the United States and to talk with Americans, because I look at you like people who are going for the best. And especially the boys has difficulties in the education system. They don't get the good skills in school. And but they are very interested in soccer. If you go into a classroom and you have 10 boys, then 8 of them love soccer, and 2 of them has very good talent. But we don't make any good players out of it, and it's very easy to make excuses for it. It's because the parents don't get involved. And if we talk about skills to learn, play soccer, to be a good student, this works. I'm sure about the results. It will become very good, both if you look at their skills doing math, but also to read and write and all these things. But also in soccer, they will become successful. And the most important thing is how they become as human beings. Many of these soccer players are very complicated in the school system in Denmark because they like to play, and they have a big influence on the other kids. In the end, many of them will lose if you don't do this. So you will have a lot of kids with a good potential who will lose in the school system, and the society cannot afford it. So every exercise you do with them, you can put it into schedules, and you can make diagrams and all these things. So they understand how important math is, and they get a language. He used this language not only with me. He do it with the other kids, because it's what he's doing and what he loves to do. And they do it in the free time. When they go home, they do it again. A very important thing is to make goals. What we saw during this project too is that the children can also change their parents' view on soccer, because people from Middle East and from Africa, they think maybe, like my parents did too, that you cannot live by soccer. It's just something for fun. But now the parents began to understand, oh, soccer can give them some skills. So this project could also make the parents interested in what they are doing, what their kids are doing. These kids who has another language, so they don't know the Danish terms for a lot of things, and that's why it goes like this in the education system. And especially, I will say, many of the biggest talents we have in soccer are very intelligent, but they don't get approval in school, so they go against the teachers, and it's very difficult to be a teacher in a class where the leaders, who are a soccer player, is against the teacher. He can destroy everything. Vi skal hen og lave vores egne tegninger, som vi skal ud på banen og afprøve bagefter. a problem you always make to the players is how do we make goals? And they have to solve the problem together. How do we make goals and how do we defend? What are we doing if the other team is doing so? What can we then do? Maybe the most important thing is that they get an agreement, because when we do this, we call it drama, because they make a drama. So they get an agreement. How do we make a goal? We do it like this. So you have to do this, this, and this. So that's why I say that there is no soccer without the parent support, because normally in every Danish club, the coach is a parent. It's difficult to find people who, without kids, coming 2-3 times a week and every weekend without getting anything for it. And especially if you want to make soccer for everyone. And I have visited Brazil and all the big clubs there. And 95% of the professional soccer players in Brazil is coming from the favela. It means from the poverty. After 12, it becomes difficult to learn them all these motor skills because they don't have the patience to do it again and again and again. I try to challenge them to arrive at perfection.
You all talked a lot about the lifestyle issues. I mean, there's a discussion I know all around the world about should we have a fifth component of soccer, fitness, technique, tactics, and the psychology, but is lifestyle worthy of being a fifth component, or is it something different? How do you show in the video again, kids brushing teeth and so forth, how through the school are you affecting the lifestyle choices of these kids?
I will not lie to the kids and say it's not about winning. It is. But it's also how we are winning. And the most important thing you can change is their behavior, their way of thinking, to make goals for themselves. Where will they like to go? As a soccer coach, and when I go to the parents and tell them that they have a kid who has a good potential, then I meet them in a positive way. By girls, we have many girls, they cannot play soccer because the parents think, no, girls don't play soccer. But if it's a girl who are good at it, you can change it. Because you can come and say, this girl is talented. And then they listen. Every parent like to hear that their child have a talent or have a good potential. I will involve the parents and I will make some obligations to the parents. So they will not get this for free. They have to do something for their kid. And I will talk to them about to go to bed in a good time. Especially these kids are from a culture where they can go out until very late. The club is much more flexible and it's much more liberal. We do it by heart in the club. So we don't think about hours, we don't think about 3 hours and think like that. It's about results. They love soccer, then it's a very good place to learn. And we also teach them in words in Danish, and we can teach them in English. We could just speak English to them. So
you get language skills.
Yeah.
So one of the things I'm always trying to preach with our coaches is, I think if we want to have creative players, we have to take chances and try and be creative in our coaching. And obviously this is a very creative approach to coaching and teaching. Creativity by necessity means that sometimes you try something that just fails completely. Do you have an example of a topic you were trying to teach with soccer that just didn't work?
Oh, yeah. I can't motivate me to do the sure thing, not to take a risk. I like to take a risk. And I like to show the players that it's okay to take a risk and sometimes not be successful. Because it's a culture. You can't win if you are not ready to lose. You can't win if you are not
Just
ready.
sharing some ideas. For me, I am always looking for that inspiration to come up with the next great method or strategy or whatever. And you know, I think one of the points I take away from our time today is really how can we work with the schools and the clubs more closely. You know, Steve, I know up in Cabot, you guys have a fantastic environment going there right now, and I'm certainly piggybacking on that with the courses and stuff. But I think if we can find ways to fuse our clubs together across the state better with our schools, that may be the secret for us in taking that next big step and getting not just a few kids here and a few kids there, but hundreds here and hundreds there. So for that alone, I appreciate your time.
I see a lot of selling point just from the fact that you're showing them math and you're showing them like that. And I feel that a lot of parents, I have one player that I feel like is really good, but he started acting up. And this, I think this right here, I can have some more points when I argue with the parents. Hey, I could run him out and promise he won't be too tired. I think this will work.